I'm Chase.
And I'm Timothy.
And this is Customer Service. We'll see how that sausage is made here in Boulder, Colorado. Checking in. It is, I'm doing the John Mulaney bit. It is...
You don't know what time it is.
May 28th. It's a balmy, I would say 65, 70 degrees outside. We've had rain for the week leading up to today, but it's a beautiful sunny day. Timothy, how are we doing?
We're good. I'm going to check you on this because you've been throwing out a lot of weather facts lately that have not been correct.
Well, the problem is this fella right here, Cole, goes, oh, shit. Last week he goes, oh, shit. It's going to be 89 on Friday. So I thought it's going to be 89 Friday. I told Abby, I told Mishan, Abby told you, and you're like, what the fuck? So
I didn't need to say what the fuck because I just went outside and was like, it's not 89.
Yeah. The thing with me
you
is...
hear one piece of information, you're like, time to spread it.
It's strong opinions loosely held, but there's a deeper function to that, and it's the last thing I heard, I assume is true.
Doesn't care what the source is. Just needed the fact.
Now, you got to think about that. But other than that, dude, obviously, at the time of recording this, it is Wednesday. This comes out tomorrow. We've had a crazy-ass week and a half. Memorial Day. Hey, if you're listening to this, you probably shopped with us on Memorial Day, so a big thank you to you. A big thank you to all the people that you've put on to Canoe Club. You kept us busy. Oh,
do the Chalamet.
Timothy Chalamet and SNL when he's playing his music.
Yeah. I mean, it was a very busy week and a half, more or less. I'm busted up. I'm mentally fried, I think.
Well, the thing is this. Not only did we work all week, we worked on the weekend. You came in both days for a moment of time. We came in early Saturday morning, which was fun. Man, I'm busted up. I agree. I feel beat as hell. Yesterday, I was like, fuck, dude, finally it's Friday. And then at some point, I realized it was Tuesday. So
Yeah, so, we love doing it, and I love being busy, too.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, there's nothing better.
I like staying busy, but it's like when these things go on for a few days, because you have a few different, versions of how it drops out, you're like, man, by the fourth day, you're like, I'm losing it. I'm losing gusto. And then you have, 2 more days left. So.
Well, and Al and I were talking yesterday. It's like, all right, cool, wrap that up. Today, Memorial Day is no longer happening. Again, thank you. But it's kind of like... where to even start on all the shit you weren't able to do? Because we don't have a team of expendable individuals. Everybody, it was all hands for a week and a half straight. And there was nobody fucking around. So
everybody lifts,
Yeah, everybody lifts. So, but it's been great. It's kind of funny that it is nice outside today. Kind of felt like coming out the other end of like a tunnel. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think it's supposed to be nice in the weekend, and I need to zone out for a couple.
Are you
going
to do your walk?
I'd love to put down a big walk. I think it's time to hike again because I won't, even when the trails are muddied. I'm not doing that. Not going out to get dirty.
Yeah,
that's not what I'm doing. I'm going out to out to dissociate and walk a long time. So
just see how
either
much
that or
time
the gym, and then I did probably sit out on the porch in the sun for a long time. See what I can. See if I can burn away all that stress.
Yeah.
I really struggle in life when I'm fine when it's because of my stuff, but you know what I mean? I'm fine when I'm stressed. When it stops, then all of a sudden my body's like, no.
No, it's kind of like, what am I neglecting? I feel great. Task got done, but there's got to be things to panic about.
I'm not good at hitting stop, So it's these times are difficult for me.
Yeah.
As much as I need got to take a break, but
yeah.
So thank you again. It was it was very busy for us. It was really great. It was really fun. It's nice to have we've had a lot of new people, but we haven't really been through a hurricane before. So it's nice
staff-wise, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Staff stepped up.
Yep.
We even had a new fella start over at the store on the weekends. Came in the thick of it and seemed to thrive.
That's kind of how it goes here. You're just if you're gonna do well here, you just got to get in the mix.
Yeah.
And here in the mud.
You said something years ago, and we've talked about it a million times, but don't stand over the putt. Best thing you can do is just, like you said, get involved, get your hands dirty, just learn by doing. I know everybody learns in different ways, but here there's an opportunity to learn by doing because we're always are doing shit. So, yeah.
So what's been going on with you besides this? Besides, it feels like nothing, but besides
like really, really, truly nothing. The weekend was pretty chill. Woke up, came in here early Saturday morning. I really like doing that. You know, it's like, obviously Saturday you'd love to just wake up and fuck off or go run errands, this and that. But once you're in here, because we got here before staff showed up, we got here early, and it's kind of cool when it's just me and you or just me in here. It's kind of cool to just like, we're just yelling across the stew, telling random stories and just working.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of old days. You know what I mean? When it was just, the vibe was a little different. I mean, it's better now. I mean, for a lot of reasons, but it's also like, it's faster paced. There's a lot more people. There's a lot more things to pay attention to, a lot more systems. Back then it was very loosey goosey and just you and I. So it felt a little bit more like that.
Well, we have a shorthand and we're able to find a rhythm, and we cranked, dude. We got a lot of shit packed within 3 hours. So
I think if you're like from the Midwest and your dad goes to work and it's one of those jobs, you're like, I don't know what he does exactly. He does work, you know? And I think that's like the vibe you and I go into, where it's like, we're just two guys, we're just doing work. It's not, we can talk, but it's not necessary either. No. I can sort of just grunt and point.
Yeah. That one. Other one down, you got it, that one. No, I feel you. It's nice, man. It's nice. It's cool. I will say there is something, then we can wrap up Memorial Day, but there is something really satisfying about packing in particular, because you get to see it's like so measurable year to year, and you see the stack get bigger and you just crank through it. But so we did that. Afterwards, friend of the shop, I never know if he wants me to say his name, so I won't, but local guy, his HOA hit him up and said, hey, you guys don't have enough greenery in the backyard. You need to plant some shrubs and or small trees. And so
I can't imagine a world in which where I don't respond, shut the hell up.
Well, that's what's crazy to me. Listen, for the record, a brief backwards motion, if you will. Me and some buddies got kicked out of a house in Boulder due to an HOA.
I remember this.
Old lady comes up to the door. Oh, I'm just introducing myself and this, that, and the other. And come to find out, we were 4 males, unrelated. Mike and I thought about getting married to try to save it, but instead they moved us to a different house, and it was a whole thing. It was really messy, but fuck the HOA, dude. Honestly, I hope there's no people listening here that are part of a leadership of an HOA, but you're kind of the problem here. But
that's some real nerd shit, man.
Yeah, dude, that's some like.
What are you, the cops?
Honestly, you're worse than a parking guard, because people buy this house and then you get to dictate to them what you do with your yard with your icky ass taste.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say who's the taste maker? That's my problem.
It's whoever lived longest.
As soon as I looked at him, I'd go, no, not you. I'm not gonna do what you want to do.
I would assume it's whoever has the biggest mouth or whoever's the oldest in the group. Likely both.
I don't think you and I should ever purchase homes that are part of an HOA. I feel
never
like that would be an instant
I never
problem.
would. It'd be so bad.
Yeah.
I'd get in trouble right off the rip. Right off the rip. So not doing that. But anyway, there wasn't enough greenery. So he goes, all right, well, I'm gonna reach out for a quote to this guy who did our landscaping in the front yard. There was some guy, because they built this shit out, and I go, well, here's the thing, dude. If that quote comes in a little high, I like to do a dig 'em. I like to do a build 'em.
Yeah.
We can do it for cheaper, pal. And he goes, all right, cool. So he goes, hey, quote came in around this. And I said, oh, buddy, that's way too high. How about we go?
Can I ask you a question? What was that based on?
Strictly anecdotal.
What you thought it should be.
Yeah. Because the thing is I can, the price of the quote, from what I understand, was not including the trees, obviously. And I was thinking, dude, you dig the hole, you put the shit in, and then if you have to stake it, you stake it. Like,
how much is a tree?
Well, it varies. You know what I mean? These were, juniper, maybe. Like a something you'd find out here.
How big is it? Like
6 footers. They were 6.5, 7 footers.
What am I looking at outside now?
It's not like that. It's more like an evergreen.
Smaller.
Smaller, but we'll get that high. It was taller than me.
That's barely a tree.
It was taller than me by considerable. So I'd say 7 foot, easy. You know what I mean?
Tell me when does it become a tree?
That.
Yeah,
but you have to keep in mind the shrub, the actual volume it takes up is great. I don't know. You can't see the stem. You know what I mean? I don't know. But anyway, the quote came in what I thought was a little high for the labor. again, as a layman, you can think, all right, you got what? However many, you dig the hole X amount deep, you plant it in there, this, that, and the other. So we did that. I went with them to the tree shop, bought a bunch of trees, and we dug a bunch of holes and planted some stuff. Looked great. I'm going to help them out this weekend as well. So I did that Saturday.
How much is a tree?
Well, these ones were a little expensive.
What's a little expensive?
I mean, these guys were in the realm of $300 or $400
a piece.
Yeah.
Why don't you just steal one? I mean, just go to a place and just take one.
Well, on that note, you know, there was one time years and years and years ago, old roommates. I was with a buddy of ours. He and his better half stopped in, surprised us, and said hi. Mm-hmm. Remember?
I think so. I don't know. You know, I'm not good at this game.
I don't know. Who cares? I'll just say their names. But anyway, we were on some acid, and we were in the woods one day, and I found this really. It was a very, very negligible dose. I would say it was more sub noticing than straight up on acid, right? So
okay.
Anyway, I've always wondered what the efficacy is of taking cacti you find out in the woods, taking a little trowel, digging them up, taking them home. Because there's cute cacti that put out little flowers in the summer, and I know exactly where to find them. So, you know, on that note of taking things from the woods.
What did the acid have to do with this?
Nothing.
Have you ever noticed when he sets up stories, he tells you a bunch of specific details that will never return? No. It's my friend. His name's Crazy Legs. We did acid that day. And anyway, I just was wondering, can you take cactuses from this? What did I need any of that for?
Yeah, dude. I mean, yeah, it's fair enough. As you said, it had nothing to do.
You give details as if it's like, okay, so I'm going to need to know that for the story, and I'm definitely going to need to hold on to that one because he's going to hit me with that out of left field.
You can assume,
boom, it's done.
You just need the last 10 or 15 seconds of the story. But the thing is, you never know when it's coming. So you're locked in for the whole thing. But I would love to take some cacti from the woods. You're like a Pixies song if right before it was about to get loud, they didn't turn on the guitar pedals. No, it's the same thing. The Pixies and the Cranberries, would you put them in the same category? Nope. Okay. I put them in the same category as my head, so I don't think I know. Oh, I know the Cranberries from the Zombie tune. But I don't think I know the Pixies.
Why do you know the Zombie tune specifically? That doesn't feel like
Andy sings it in the office.
Oh, okay. There we go. Yeah. So that makes sense.
Unfortunately. I hate to admit that. I
thought it was because those nerds covered it, that everybody likes. That no one's going to like this take I have.
What's the band?
I don't know. Those nerdy guys, the guy with the...
Are you just describing an archetype, or are you thinking...
He wears his sleeves like this, and then he sings, and then they do covers.
I don't know.
But their main music sucks. Everyone knows it because if you go on their Spotify, no one listens to that, but they all listen to the Cranberries.
Royal Otis?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Because Linger.
That's it.
What tune is that? Is that Pixies or Cranberries?
Cranberries.
That's the Cranberries?
Yeah.
So real quick, we're gonna get to where we get when we get there.
No, we won't.
Mishan showed me that cover, and I go, "What a magnificent tune!" And I knew that it was a cover, right? He's wearing a Needles jacket in the video.
Yeah, probably.
It's like a 7 cuts jacket. And then I was like, well, great. I'm gonna listen to other music, and I was like, wow, this is dog shit. So hated it. But that cover, Linger by Royal Otis, is really, really, really good.
Yeah. I think it's like a C+, but I hear you.
Yeah. Hey, fair enough.
Yeah. It's just like the amount of like guys who aren't really into like good music be like, you heard this cover? And it's like, no. I'm not. I don't need this from you, especially. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's always the guy that spends a little too much time on his hair that suddenly is into like, I'm into rock music too. You're like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
No, you're not, you nerd.
You're not into fucking rock music, dude. I heard you playing Beyonce when you pulled up. You're playing the new Beyonce album.
Yeah.
So.
That's fine for them, but I'm not going to get lectured about the Cranberries by that guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So Saturday, that was it. Sunday, you know what? Sunday was a fun day. I'm going to, as I've said, if you want to pop back to about exactly a year ago, I was very high-spirited about my garden. And then obviously, I never really talked about it again. And then nothing really came to. Sunday, Michelle and I
Can I pause you right there for 1 second? I do think that if that band, what were they called again?
Royal Otis.
Yeah. I do think if those dorks did a cover of, do you know the band The Sundays?
No.
Probably not. If they that's not sung Summertime, I think they could do a nice cover of that. So I'll give them a flower there. I think that if they wrote it themselves,
Yeah,
look at what's he got, gloves on, or what's
yeah, he's got gloves on. He's got gloves on. Yeah, the Needles jacket is cool. You can hear his accent. He says something about. Oh really? I thought it was UK. He says something like how UK people say Tuesday, with a CH. He says it like that. Yeah, I don't remember the lyric, but.
Well, anyway, please don't DM me other songs of theirs or anything, because it's not gonna happen. But I do think if they did that cover of the Sundays, that would be good.
Yeah.
So I'll give them.
We'll listen to that.
Yeah, I just don't think they got it beyond that.
Another band that does great covers is Whitney. The amount of tunes that Whitney has covered that I think is like absolutely stellar, better or as good as the original. The Dolly Parton song, the not Sweet Home Alabama, the one about West Virginia, Country Roads. And
I like that NRBQ cover.
NRBQ,
we've talked about it before.
Yeah, really fucking good. So anyway, we need to listen to that. Man, last time we talked about this on the pod.
I think they just put out a new single today.
Whitney?
Oh, cool. I didn't listen to it, but
isn't Whitney also Immortal Orchestra or whatever the fuck?
No, they were. This is gonna challenge me now. I can see the like band photo in my head.
Can you look it up, Cole?
It was another band. It was called Smith Westerns.
Smith Westerns?
I think that was it. Yeah.
We're looking for sister bands of Whitney, so to speak.
We can't watch this in live time.
Yeah, it's okay.
Smith Westerns, I think, is the
Smith Westerns?
They were part of that in some way. I don't
like
remember what the lore was. I think that was probably the idea with the band name. All right, move on. Sorry. So the garden last year didn't grow.
So last year I had 4 tomato plants that came to fruition, produced tomatoes. Literally everything else died, got nothing. More or less put it in the ground and not a single thing happened until eventually we stopped watering it. They shriveled up and died. So on Sunday, me and Michelle were out in the rain for 2 hours, just in the rain, just haven't done that since a kid. It was kind of fun, kind of nice, but it was cold. Planted everything. I've got 15 or so tomato plants, another 15 or so pepper plants, cucumbers, melons. We'll see how it goes. But it's looking good
optimistic?
So far. Well, here's the thing. I am feeling very optimistic, and here's why. I started everything from seed again this year, but the things going into the ground are much bigger than they were last year. So I hope my thinking is that they have more, developed root systems, and we'll see how it goes. So I will report back. I will keep up on the saga of that. As it stands now, I am optimistic, and we will see. But I was chatting with the fella who owns the wine shop across the street. You know him?
Mm-hmm.
The wine shop, West End Wines. By the way, if you live local, you got to patron that spot. He's become a buddy over time.
He'll give you a nice suggestion.
He gives you a nice suggestion. Everything I've gotten, he's like, like for instance, I was like, I'm just wanting a little something. You know what I mean? It's fun to pop in there and get a little something. Sometimes Asahi or what have you. There were these pre-canned gin and tonic cocktails, which I know you like a G&T.
Mm-hmm.
It's cute. Yellow packaging. It's gin and tonic, and he says, there's almost like a mint nature about it. You'll see it's very like aromatic and cooling, and it was really good cocktail. But anyway, I've made friends with him over the years. He's Nepalese, and he says he grows all his food, and they've built out their garden over the years, and this, that, and the other. And I always ask him how he's doing, and he gives me the lowdown on where to get like mulch and shit for free or cheap. And I go, I am going to battle with these squirrels. These squirrels are just ruining my fucking life. We've tried a bunch of things. I've read, squirrels hate marigolds. They hate marigolds. Plant marigolds around the perimeter. They ate the fucking petals off the marigolds and dug one of them up. They do not care.
Hell yeah, my brothers.
And here's the thing.
Squirrels out there, listen to me. Come to my porch. I got food for you. I'm set up for you. Well, and I'll send you right over to Cheddar's house. He's got a bunch of shit that he's growing that if you eat, I'll pay you double.
I don't even care if if I had a bunch of tomatoes, I'll happily pick a bunch of tomatoes and set them there for him. I'm happy. The thing is, they dig up the plants. It's not even like they're even eating the plants. They're just digging them up.
Yeah, they do it on the porch. They dug up some flowers, just tossed them.
Yeah, they just toss them. And I've read that it's because they can tell when the soil's loose. And so what they're doing is getting in there while the soil's loose to bury shit so they can come back to it later in the season. So,
and you don't identify with these gentlemen.
Timothy, I more closely identify to that of a raccoon, but a squirrel is awfully close, especially when they're, wild like they are coming out of quote unquote hibernation.
Those fat boys that come out, they come out thick as a brick, and they're moving around.
They stand their ground against Leon, my dog. They don't give a shit.
No, they don't give a shit. They don't care about the cats at all. The cats don't bother them at all. They no longer really care if I'm out there. They'll come if I'm out there painting or sitting out there, whatever. They'll come all but like
pretty close
to my body.
Yeah. Have you tried feeding out of your hand yet?
No. I heard though that they don't. If they chomp you, it's not a big deal.
Well,
I don't want to get chomped. I'm saying like they won't give you a disease.
No, somebody just said this that you don't need. If you get bit by a squirrel, they don't have rabies. Chris said it or someone. Somebody was just saying squirrels don't have rabies, and if you get bit, don't worry about it.
Now you said Chris said it. I think we gotta look it up.
Cole's shaking his head going, guys, no, that's not true. So, but anyway, but they're close to you. I think you should try to court them in some way.
I think they'll start coming inside if I'm not too careful. Plus, I'm like fostering a family of birds. They're always
in your garage.
Out there. Yeah. One of them shows up wet every day. He's wet.
You ain't got a bird bath or nothing over there, huh?
I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah,
he's just like wet.
Yeah.
The other one's always fine. Looks great. The one's just wet.
I wonder what he's doing. I don't know. Maybe he's getting in your gutter.
Name him Cheddar.
But anyway, so I asked him. I said, "What do you do with squirrels?" And he says, "Oh, you can do this, that, and the other." I've heard various things between things from him or otherwise. You can get owl statues, and apparently it's like a scarecrow. You know what I mean? You put the owl. That doesn't do shit. I've heard.
It's like at a certain point. First of all, they're smart.
They're smart, dude.
Like the plastic.
They know when I'm inside or outside. When I'm by the window, they only do devious things when you're literally not looking. They're never doing it when you're looking.
It's their world, baby. You're the one trying to put food outside. That's your fault.
Well, hey, I'm down to share with the community, so to speak. I have no qualms. Just don't dig my shit up. If you're going to dig it up and eat it, at least eat it.
Prison.
Huh?
Put up a barbed wire fence like it's a prison.
Yeah.
That's the other thing, too. Sometimes you look at people's gardens, you're like, you've done so much shit that your yard now looks insane.
Yeah.
For what?
Yeah. Barbed wire and a fence reminds me. When I was coming to work one morning, they had my route shut off in Longmont. There was SWAT, and I'm talking 30, 40 dudes. ARs, snipers on roofs, like whole on this house that I would assume was some sort of meth lab or some sort of drug trafficking situation, and now that you drive by the house, they've got it all boarded up, this, that, and the other, and the fence, it's a wooden fence. Imagine just the most normal wooden fence. Now imagine a 6 foot wide hole is in the fence, right? No, instead of just either re-nailing up the boards or getting more boards, what they did was bought a bunch of barbed wire and just made it a fucking maze of barbed wire. So you can see straight into the backyard, but to get there, you'd have to literally, James Bond through barbed wire. So trap house with the barbed wire. So got to put that up.
You got any barbed wire tattoos?
I don't have any barbed wire on me, no. I had to think.
I had to think for a second.
I got chain and rope, but no barbed wire. I got plenty birds. I got a handful of butterflies, lots of skulls. I got plenty girls. No barbed wire.
Sailboats, anchors.
No
message in a bottles.
No anchors, no boats, no message in a bottles. I do have live, laugh, love across the top of my chest.
That's tight, yeah.
That's tight.
That's cool.
But anyway, the only thing that I can
just Tasmanian Devil.
Is just Taz in a Space Jam jersey.
I want to start a new thing where I want to just create lore around what the tattoos underneath all the denim jackets are, to the point where no one's quite sure. Like he either is covered in Looney Tunes shit or not.
Or it's a joke. I can't tell. You're literally just gonna have to wait.
I also have another funny bit. This is for you directly, Cole, because I don't want him to hear. I think that we should sneak into his yard and put a bunch of fully grown melons and shit in there. And fool him into thinking,
come here.
It happened overnight. Just like gaslighting you into believing all sorts of weird shit.
Timbo, a miracle happened. I cannot come into work today. I need to figure out what happened in my
Some
yard.
kind of James and the Giant Peach situation is happening.
Yeah.
I like that. Hey, I heard something funny that maybe you'll like.
Hit me.
The other day I do the same thing every week, and I don't want anyone. They already know what it is. It doesn't matter. I go to like an art supply store, and I go in and. so the front of it's a paint shop, like for house paints. And then you go back to the area where there's like, they sell like wallpapers and shit. And there's always these like two old ladies that kind of run this department.
They're there to help you get color matching and shit.
I've never seen them helping someone, and I'm there every single, I'm there a couple times.
I've been in there dozens of times.
So they're always sitting there and they're just chatting. And never anything interesting. You know what I mean? I feel like sometimes it's like, I think they might be talking politics, so I don't want to hear this. But beyond that, I never think about them. And I'm in there, and it's so quiet in this place all the time because there's never anyone really there.
Yeah.
And I'm looking for my stuff, doing my thing. And I hear the two of them talking. And the one lady comes back and she like sits hard down in her office chair and she goes, Jesus Christ. And the lady's like, what's up now? And she's like, well, apparently Mr. Tommy Bahama thinks women should have 0 body fat on them because I just got a swimsuit in and I don't know what they think my size women's are. So I love this idea of she's just roasting Tommy Bahama for not being size inclusive, which is just, you think like, what do we do? So I don't know if that's true or not, but apparently I feel like most of the fellas I've seen in Tommy Bahamas, they got sizing.
Yeah.
They got sizing. So I'm not sure what this lady was pissed about. And she's like the most normal looking lady you've ever seen in your life. But I love the idea of being this pissed off at Tommy Bahama after you've bought multiple swimsuits from him because she's going to go on a cruise.
Yeah.
I just thought it was cool.
I just had a great idea.
Cool conversation.
I don't ever want to go on a cruise unless we go as like a group. Me, Mishan, you, Abby, Gia, Cole, Sophie. I think we take a cruise and it's for content. So the company will pay for it.
Content cruise?
Yeah. Company will pay for it.
Mm-hmm. You think we go on like a Joe Rogan cruise or whatever he does?
Is that
something like, I don't know. It seems like something they would do. Remember when Garrison? I think we've talked about this before. When Garrison Keillor had a cruise and then he didn't show
Who's
up.
that?
The guy that does like Prairie Home Companion.
I don't know that either.
You'd know what it is. That fucking old guy who does like down home stories where he's like, Mommy and Pappy didn't bring the blueberry pie in today. It's like that type of shit. It's on NPR.
He's a wannabe Ira Glass.
No, I think you're thinking Ira Glass is like...
I know Ira Glass.
He's reporting on the news and stuff. This guy's telling goofy stories about cottages that he never has been to.
Oh, I don't want that.
He
was the main attraction of the cruise.
He stinks. But anyway, he had a cruise apparently.
Yeah.
I think I'm getting this information. This is like a while ago. And I feel like we talked about this before. Yeah. He had a cruise and then he didn't show up. And then they had to like, people were pissed. All these old people were there and they're super pissed because he wasn't like on the Garrison Keillor cruise because like they feel like that's why you go.
Well, yeah.
Maybe we could just have a customer service.
We can have a customer service cruise. Let me tell you something. I have somewhat of a confession.
What would be the event?
And then we can talk about the event.
Talk for 100 hours. So
I'll tell you as we're talking about the cruise,
you'd love a cruise, by the way.
The obsessive part in my brain is I can feel it rattling off the inside of my cranium. It's buffet. Everything's paid for. It's free drinks, buffet. And it's like
you'd love this shit.
I would love to. You know what perfect cruise for me is? It never leaves the dock. You go to New Jersey or wherever the fuck you get on a cruise. You get on the big boat and you stay there for a week, and then you get off and drive home.
I could blindfold your ass and put you in a Golden Corral and leave you there for a week. It'd be the same thing.
You could put me in the basement buffet of Black Hawk casinos up near Golden. Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude. Which could be another content piece.
I don't want to go to that. The only thing I'd want to do there is smoke, and I'm not allowed to do that anymore. So what's the point?
Yeah, we could get you a vape with numbers on the screen and shit. Cole said when he was coming home from, where were you most recently? Ireland?
Yeah, Ireland.
You were coming home from Ireland and you you said you saw a girl with a vape that had numbers and the screen on the front, and you said you saw her vaping on the plane, but she was zeroing it out, which for those who don't know, just holding it in her body until it dissipates in her body.
Crazy
and
those things have screens like you can play like fucking Flappy Bird and shit on them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're getting way too deep in. Well, and they're all disposable too. So it's like you can't even like put a new, I don't know, cartridge, I guess.
How much is it for a vape with a screen? $60?
I have no fuck. I bet, yeah.
Yeah.
I think vapes are like, it's just like smoked cigs at this point. It's, even
what
with the taxes.
One of those vape stores?
Yeah.
That looks like it used to be a T-Mobile
Where
store?
you go to buy Kratom, Spice, legal drugs.
Some tobacco smoking products.
Yeah.
Salvia.
Yeah, Salvia. That's what I was looking for. That's what I was looking for, Salvia. Yeah.
We lived through the hardened days of Salvia.
Have you ever done any of those, Timothy?
Dude,
you never did like a gas station
drug? I saw one guy
drug?
do it, and I was like, I never want to look like that. Yeah. So why would I do this?
There was the famous video going around.
Crazy? Yeah.
Guy in his, it's ground level living room. Do you know the one I'm talking about? It's like a ground level living room. He takes a hit of Salvia, and like, do you know?
This is exactly what I'm talking about. Why do we need to know that it's a ground level?
Well,
living
because
room?
hold on, you'll see. It will matter. Do you know the Jiminy Glick bit where he's talking to Jack Black and he keeps getting up on the chair further?
Yeah.
He does that on his love seat sofa. Look at these parking guards. Narcs.
You've never seen
You
someone with
should join
so
an
much
HOA.
with so much venom for parking people that are just like people doing their job, and he's like, I have to move my car
God
once
forbid
a day.
I need to put my car somewhere while I generate tax money for this fucking city. A can of Coca-Cola is already $6.50.
Can of Coca. Why do you know how much a can of Coca-Cola
I'm exaggerating,
is?
but they put a sugar tax, dude. It basically makes it double. Whatever the regular price is.
Don't drink
double.
it then.
I don't. I just don't like it. I don't like it. I don't even get pop. Soda.
What do you care then?
I just think it's a goddamn shame I can't put my car somewhere for 8 hours a day without having to move it.
8 hours a day. I want to put my car somewhere for 8 hours a day.
God, dude, I pay tax for the city. I'm employed here, Anyway, Salvia. Oh,
If anyone works in the government and wants to write a long thing in the Discord that explains that what he's saying makes zero sense.
change my mind. But until then, it's a job.
Just move the car.
I do.
Quit
For the
talking
record,
about
I
it.
moved the car because I'm not paying $60 for a
To
ticket.
get so mad at these people walking around.
Whatever, dude. Fake ass job. Also, notice they're not out in winter. They're not out when it's raining or when it's snowing. Only when it's beautiful they do their job.
You know
Losers.
what? I'll let you do whatever. I'll let you do your little diatribes if you do that job for 1 year.
I would never.
Do it for 1 year, and then I
I'm
want
not
to
a
hear the
fucking
same
punk.
complaints. You aren't punk.
Anyway, hey, this dude's he takes a rip of Salvia and he's doing the Jiminy Glick up the back of the love seat, and he breaks the window, falls out of the window into his front yard. And I know it's a single story because he just gets back up and comes back in the front door. You know what I mean?
He falls out of
falls out of the window, goes up the back of the sofa doing the Jiminy Glick, and then falls out
That's
the
what I
back.
mean. Every time I saw somebody doing it, it was like, ugh, that is not a cool. No one's looking cool doing that.
You know what it reminds me of, which I think is also really gross, something we lived through? The passing out game. You know this where like, I never participated because I always worried you just die. You know what I mean? But my 7th grade girlfriend, her older sister had a bunch of guy friends who would kick it around, and they would choke each other out in the living room. They would choke each other out until they passed out, and then you come back too. And I'm telling you, these guys, they'd be like, all right, me next. And they'd stand up and they'd choke their buddy, and then he'd pass out, drop him to the floor, and then a couple minutes later, he'd come back alive. So anyway, that's like doing fucking gas station drugs.
That's not like doing that. That's so weird.
I know that this. I mean, dude, it might just. I don't know, man. I figured it would have hit Indiana if it hit Ohio, but no. Cole, you don't know about this either.
I guess the crews I was running weren't auto asphyxiating each other.
Well, for the record, I was like, I don't like this. It wasn't like fun to watch either. I didn't understand who ate in this situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What do you like passing out? Like, what's the? I love getting choked.
Who's getting what
this
they want?
This feels like it was.
Buddy, these were some 8th graders in and one outfits. You know what I mean? They were not doing any. There was nothing kinky about it. I just think they'd like to. I don't know.
I'd like to know where these fellas are now.
Yeah. But anyway, so I'm not doing
I
any
bet it
gas
became
station
something
drugs.
kinky. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I don't know. That definitely was it. I'm running in the back of my head like, yeah, just choking each other out in the living room, like on purpose, willingly. So
what are we talking about today?
Well, here, let me get the.
Let's see if there's anything I had for you.
I had a couple other things that I wanted to talk about.
Okay, go ahead.
So here in Boulder, did you guys go to the Creek Fest this weekend? I know you got something good.
I was. Sometimes I put this things I want to. I'm like, I don't want to forget to ask Chase about this.
Yeah.
I had the OJ spaghetti thing. If anyone hasn't watched the what is the series called?
It's a Netflix series. They're called American Manhunt. Semicolon or colon, and then it's about there's the Boston Marathon bombing.
We talked about the
OJ.
Bin Laden one, but there's one about OJ, and they're interviewing that one lawyer of his. a bunch, and the way he keeps talking about big ass bowl of spaghetti, and he says it like 100 times. Like, dude, it's like I don't even think he's meaning to be like funny. He's just trying to make a point, but he just keeps saying big ass bowl of spaghetti, and he says it so many times that like on the third time he said it, the first time I was watching, I was like in tears. I was like, I gotta remember to like show this to somebody because I thought it was so funny. And I looked online and no one was talking about it.
Yeah, I'm now watching the Boston Marathon series. Really interesting. I remember that. The Bin Laden one was great because it's very nostalgic, and you, as a child, I learned
nostalgic.
Not nostalgic in the positive way, but
yeah.
But I look back and being a kid, and I just remember being like, I hope fucking nobody uses mustard gas on me. And you had the bottled water and the duct tape ready to lock yourself in the closet. You remember all this when you would prep your shit?
Yeah, no, I mean I didn't do any of it, but yeah, I hear you.
I remember just being like,
did it.
damn it, dude. My mom got some water bottles and some duct tape. I was like, now it's real. Now we're gonna fucking die, dude.
My mom bought stuff.
She's got the stuff, and you got to go lock yourself in the closet and this, that, and the other.
I don't know that we really had anything. My mom listens. Maybe I'm remembering incorrectly, but I don't remember us.
Weigh in.
They were right. We were fine.
Yeah.
What do you think? A duct tape's gonna save us from a mustard gas?
Well, it's like the Nate Bargatze bit about he lived in St. Juliet, Tennessee or something, and when 9/11 happened, he and a gang of volunteers went and guarded the water tank for the city, thinking that terrorists were gonna go to rural Tennessee and fuck up their water, and so they took shifts guarding the water tank post 9/11. And it's like, dude, the United States is a big place, bro, big old place. Yeah. They ain't going to rural Tennessee, man. They're not looking at that. Realistically, they were gonna target the Great Lakes. That's what everybody says, you fuck up the water system, hit the Great Lakes. So anyway, I know zero to nothing about OJ. I know, let me tell you my bullet points. I know that he was a football player. I couldn't tell you for what team. I think he was a running back, but I could be wrong.
He was a football player back when they wore the uniforms where they didn't look like real guys, where the pads seemed to come like from here off their head.
Yeah. Like they look like NFL Blitz. The N64 guys. Yeah. When they're dressed like that. And so I know those things. I know that he obviously went to jail. He was in the Bronco chase. He's since out and has passed, right? Mm-hmm. And did he also not write a book basically copying to it under the guise of, if I were to do a murder, this is how I would do it? Okay. So that's literally all I know. So I'm excited to watch the doc.
I mean, it's like, that's not that you've got the story down, you know what I mean? But then there's all these other things, like you can there's like interesting things that were going on at the same time, like all the riots and all these other things that like play into like this whole case. But then there's also just the fact that like they then just put the freakiest people in LA on the stand, just the true nightmares of LA, and we're like, let's talk to these folks about some stuff.
Were they famous people, or they were?
In some cases, and in other cases, they became famous because of this thing. Because this is like what was on TV,
Yeah. Oh, I mean, dude.
Listen, to be honest with you, I thought that it was a great documentary. The ESPN one's better, but it's good. And I'm telling you, the only thing I took away, that's
spaghetti. Like Timothy's not exaggerating. That's how he's saying it.
It's episode 4. I'm sure we can. I wish
it's
we could
episode
clip
4,
it.
about 3/4 of the way through. I remember you scrubbing through to show me.
I had to show you, when I came in the first thing. I thought I forgot to take that off the list.
I
saw it again and just thinking about it.
No, that's tight. That's tight. I will watch that.
That guy rules, man.
Yeah.
I want him to. If I have infinite money. He's a lot older than me, but at my funeral, I'd like him to read.
Yeah,
he'll read that. He'll do the sermon because he's got a great way of talking.
That's tight.
Go ahead.
Did you go to Creek Fest this weekend?
Nope. Buddy, there's no. I don't do that stuff.
Okay.
This is like that one that's in your neck of the woods that is at that place. I will not. I went last time and I was like, that's the last time I go into that location.
You didn't have fun.
I don't like that kind of thing, brother.
Yeah. No, you don't like it, and I do wholeheartedly from the bottom of my heart. Love a fest.
Nothing that like you say and do makes sense to me because it's all in contradiction.
I pick and choose, man. It's case by case. I wanted to tell a quick story about the Creek Fest for a couple folks. So one year we all went. I had my buddy Mike of the clam chowder fame, of the rolling the Jeep in the woods fame. I had my buddy Mike with us, and I think Dante. And so we got this food truck. It was like a Cajun food truck. They had a shrimp po' boy. Okay? Mike, Loved the shrimp po' boy so much. He goes, we got to follow this truck around. I need another one of them shrimp. He didn't know that you could just like get like a shrimp po' boy. He thought this was he thought they made it.
This was famous for it.
We got to figure out where this truck's going next. But when I first moved to Boulder in 2014, I didn't live here permanently, but when I first moved here, it was summer. It would have been like this weekend. I arrived and Creek Fest was happening. And so my buddies take me, and it just reminded me, you were talking about Booyah Guy, Cole. Reminded me, they have a big stage, and it's, people banging on wooden drums, and it's like jam band shit, like you were saying, 12-minute long songs. And there was a guy who was an older fella, shirt off, if I remember correctly, like a tank top in the back of his shorts. You know what I mean? So it's hanging out of the back of his shorts. His shirt's off, leather skin, tan to fuck. And there's a band playing on the stage. They're facing the crowd. The crowd is facing the band. He is the closest to the stage, facing the crowd, dancing at them. He's not part of the band. He's dancing at them, and he's doing this, and he's waving his hands around and this and that. And then the song ends. This was in
Boulder?
This is in Boulder.
If you want to distill Boulder down to one guy, bingo.
The song ends. He's clapping to the crowd as if he's part of the band or as if he's part of the entertainment. So that guy has lived with me. Bunch of people in costumes riding bikes, middle of the street, flat street, costumes. Guy dances to the crowd, applauds. He accepts the applause as if he was part of the entertainment. That's about it. I just wanted to throw that out there. So for anybody that isn't familiar with Boulder, like Timothy said,
there you go.
That's it.
Guy who thinks it's all for him.
Yeah. Hell yeah. So I was wondering about Creek Fest. My note here is creekfest-dancer. A couple other things before we get into, I suppose the real part of this podcast, but
describe to me what that part is.
The stuff about the shop, clothes, questions that people ask us. Two things. This is really quick. Bugles. Were you a fan of bugles?
Yeah,
we were talking about bugles leading up to this pod.
And put them on your fingers until you accidentally get part of your finger. It's not so fun anymore.
Yeah. And then lastly, I had one update in my life that I forgot to say. Michelle and I ordered some art from Phil Elverum of Microphones fame. God bless these indie musicians. Took like 3 months for it to get here.
We've been hearing about this art for a decade now.
Took months for him to ship it or nothing. It's all good. It got here. It is 36 inches by 40. It's unbelievably huge. I am very excited. I'm going to reach out to some framing places this weekend. I've never gotten anything framed.
Do you think you'll have time?
I'll have time. I'll make time. I don't got shit going on.
You've got that planned on the weekend.
I'm gonna reach out to these framing places.
Making a single phone call that you won't make.
No, but if they're like, hey, it's I don't know. I don't know. If it's under $200, I'll get my car, drive it, and get it popping right then. You know what I mean? I have no clue. I'd love a nice, just regular, medium color wooden frame, just regular. So that's about it.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you have anything else to report from this weekend, Timothy?
It's you looking at the paper the whole time as if like, what, you're gonna like bend reality and have it be saying something.
What if you look at it and said, "Hiya, buddy"?
that's the hot dog guy.
Yeah.
No, that's nothing thrilling, man. Felt like we talked about it. It's just it's a busy couple weeks, busy weekend. I had a lot of my daughter graduated kindergarten.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So we had a lot of like end of school stuff, and then people try to cram a lot of birthdays in. So I've been to a lot of kids' birthday parties. I've been told I'm not allowed to comment on anything that happens at the birthday parties because people might listen and then I get in trouble. So they were great.
It's you know what? Real quick, I'm gonna stop you. Mike Birbiglia's new special. He talks about he's like, my daughter has about 6 friends. I seem to average between 200 and 300 birthday parties a year.
Yeah, that's
he
it.
goes, I hate them. It's the worst part of my life. Yeah. So anyway, you can relate to Mike Birbiglia.
Yeah. You chit chat with parents. That's about it.
You got food at those, or those are only for the kids?
I'm not gonna eat at that. That's not a venue where I eat at. Does that make sense to you? I mean, it's not gonna make sense to you, but
it doesn't make sense to me, buddy. Food's free. Okay.
But the food is free.
Cole, how many minutes we at, pal? It's about time to go into questions. All right, we'll hop into questions. So, I'm just gonna go ahead and go through these, and we're gonna talk about them. have you ever been put off a brand you once really liked? So let me interpret this.
Okay.
Have you ever been into a brand and then maybe throughout time you change your tune on it? And let's expound why. And tell me what you think. I have an immediate gut reaction, but tell me what you think. Like,
Yeah, I mean, look, I have one off the top of my head. I can't dox the brand. In this case, I can't dox the brand or the person, but there's definitely a time where you see somebody wearing something and you're like,
oh, yeah,
I'm not into this now.
Sure.
You know what I mean? It's like it kind of ruined it for me a little bit. You know, I get that. I get that feeling. I'm trying to think of a more specific, like, you know, something just stopped the lining or, you know, something like that.
Mm-hmm. See, because the thing
I can't think of one. I'm trying to think of one off the top of my head, but
the way that I interpret it is like,
maybe I'm misinterpreting too.
I think you're interpreting it right. I don't like, for instance, what comes to mind is this: I was never an Aim Leon Door guy. It is what it is. ALD. I was never an ALD guy.
The guy that would correct us, we don't want to hear from. Just a heads up. So
please don't reach out.
Don't care one way or the other either. So
yeah. Don't send me your Grailed link. I'm not interested.
Yeah.
I don't like, for instance, that brand was really cool. Everybody loved it. And for the record, I'm gonna stick to my guns here. I'm open to there being brands out there that do better styling. I think Nana Mika does a really good job with their lookbook seasonally. I think Harold does a really good job. To this day, though, Aim Leon Door is their vibe is unmatched. It's really, really, really fucking cool. But it was so weird to me. Like all at once, it was uncool, right? And I kind of hate that shit where it's like you love a thing and then you're gonna suddenly act like you weren't the person who was liking it, volleying for it, talking about it 6 months ago.
Everyone has the right to evolve. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's great.
And that's fine. So your
interests
interests
I don't understand
change.
why it's suddenly like, I didn't like that. And it's like, well, yeah, you did. What are you
did,
talking
so
about?
who
Yeah, you
fucking
did. You were that
cares?
guy.
Yeah.
You know? And now because other people that you didn't think were as cool starts liking it, now you're sort of not into it. It's like, well, that's not the right reason for that thing to happen.
That's what I'm
sense.
communicating.
You know what I mean?
So.
Like we were just talking about the other day. I think it's time. I think you and I need to bring back Supreme.
I want a Supreme hat.
It's
I was
time.
talking about in college, freshman year. I can't help but share anecdotes from my life. We had a friend who was really rich. Her dad was like a Harvard architect. And she had this boyfriend in Cincinnati, I believe. And I remember she bought him a Supreme hat. And I go, fuck, dude. This girl just bought her boyfriend a Supreme hat. I just couldn't comprehend that it wasn't even that expensive at that time. But whatever it was, I was blown away by that. And I think Supreme hats are fucking cool. And again, it kind of goes into like, oh, you're too cool for Supreme. It's like everybody wants to hate anything cool and popular, and I'm usually right there alongside you. But I'm kind of tired of everybody being too cool for school for everything. Every 6 months, the thing you liked is suddenly not cool anymore. And like,
I never liked that.
I just don't think that's cool. I think that's lame. I think that is like, I don't know, what part of you is real then if you're so easily influenced by people on the internet that you don't know. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that's how I interpreted this question, and I don't have anything to tell you. I mean, things that I was really fond of at one point. I mean, I worked at Red Wing in college, and between me and my two other buddies, we had every single SKU of Heritage accounted for. And I'm not going to act like that's not cool. The Red Wings are still cool. I just don't have any. But, you know, I don't know. I don't subscribe to that train of thought. So I don't have an answer.
Like I said, I think there's certainly been times where a brand does get sort of like wrecked for you a little bit, and you're like, ugh, I just had this idea of it in my head and now it's kind of getting ruined a little bit, and that's tough.
The fuck? Someone on the roof? Cool, will you pop outside and just see if someone's on the roof? Someone's on the roof.
Leave it all in, don't cut it. We're not going to make work for Cole to see if there was a guy on the roof.
Bigfoot is on the roof.
I will say whoever's on the roof is a Goliath.
Yeah.
Or they're stomping. All right.
Tell them knock it off.
This is going to be impossible for you to keep doing while...
Yeah, I'm going to try really hard.
Because I know you're also a little jealous that you're not the one up there.
I swear to God, I was thinking, if those motherfuckers got to climb up that staircase and wriggle their way up, I am upset.
Okay, so yeah, like I think that like there's definitely been times where like something gets popular, and I know that it's tough when it's like, oh, it felt like it was mine and now it's not mine. And I think that it can get a little tainted for you. I understand that feels a little icky at times. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's a reason to stop liking the brand or stop wearing the brand or whatever it is. I think that's not right. Yeah, I mean, that feels stupid too. Yeah. But I get the sentiment. I can't think of it as, like I said, there's one thing in my mind with a certain person that I was like, ugh, man, like that sort of ruins it for me.
I get you, and there's, I'm not saying I'm not influenced, but like, I truthfully don't give a fuck, dude. Like if I saw, I'll say this, if I saw Rittenhouse in a nice Cottle denim jacket, I'd be like, man, don't drag Cottle through the mud, but it's not like I'm not going to wear my fucking denim jackets. You know what I'm saying?
This is a crazy line of thinking from Rittenhouse.
Well,
we were making fun of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I guess I can't think of any like specifics. I think the ALD thing is valid. You definitely have a lot of guys. Yeah, I mean, same thing with like Supreme. I'm trying to think of other things that were like.
For instance, let me put it through a different lens. Now,
people wearing off-white and then suddenly. I mean, that the problem is it's like it's two different things. I don't think you or I participate heavily in
trend forward things.
Yeah, it's just not usually our cup of tea. Not to say that I don't think there's valid things. And there's places where we've dipped toes. Certainly, you know.
I had dunks at one point.
Yeah. Like, I think that, like, it's all, you know, all that's normal. And, you know, so I think that maybe it just hasn't happened to us as much because there hasn't been as much, like, knee-jerk reaction to, like, the stuff that we're generally into. But I you know, I also agree with you. And I think it's really lame when people won't just be like, no, I just don't. It's kind of like when people are like, you know, when we did the things you listen to that you're embarrassed by, like, I'm not really embarrassed by.
I don't feel embarrassed
and
about
like
it.
I'm sure there's things, if you look, anybody can go back in anyone's history and do something cheap and find some outfit you wore that like was, you know, fine at the time, and you look back on it, you're like, that probably wasn't it, you know. But so now we're gonna shame people for experimenting. You know what I mean? Like, shut the fuck up.
Like, from my perspective, it's like, okay, me or anybody, this applies to anybody in this situation, like, oh, you find an outfit of somebody from 5 years ago and you're like, oh my God, look at this outfit, this is so embarrassing. But like, if that person put it on the internet 5 years ago, it probably was well within what other people were wearing. You felt good at the time. So what's embarrassing about it? It's embarrassing that you give a fuck about what somebody wore I don't know. I think it gets into this internet thing that I talk about where it's like, everybody is trying to impress these random people on the internet that don't mean anything to them. They never met in real life or ever will. I just think it's silly and weird. To look at it through another perspective is like, listen, I don't have any skin in the game with CU football. I like CU football because I live here. I generally like college football. I like football of all kinds. I watch football all fucking season long, pro or college otherwise. But the same motherfuckers that are down here getting hammered on the hill, rooting SCO buffs, this, that, and the other, suddenly the tide has turned and everybody likes to hate on Shedeur Sanders because he didn't get drafted, which I don't care. I'm not here to go to bat for the Sanders boys or Coach Prime Dion. But it's also like, when did you decide that you're no longer the person that likes the thing, that you're too cool to like the thing? You know what I mean? It's the same people rooting for football. What?
You're a little bit of the king of this, big
What do
dog.
you mean? We can have the conversation.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if something's a little too popular, suddenly you get a real.
Well, I'm not going to watch a movie that everybody's telling me to watch.
What's the difference in what we're talking about right now? Of that,
you genuinely like the thing, is what I'm saying. You like the thing.
What do you think? The other people don't like the thing that they're suggesting to you?
I'm saying, if I spend my whole time rooting for CU football, and then the football season ends, and suddenly, oh, fuck Shedeur Sanders, this, that, and the other. It's like, well, you were the person volleying for them to win. You were rooting for their success, and now it's cool to not like them. I don't understand. There's a disconnect there. I don't like things that I don't like, and I'm fine to not like it. Is it funny that he's had money
and access and training by all the best people, and he's the coach's kid, and then he couldn't get drafted? Yes, that is funny.
I get the humor. I get the humor. And it's fine for you to say that because you've
I don't
stood
care regardless.
by, you don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
But I'm saying the same people who had fucking season tickets and were wearing their merch and getting hammered and going and tailgating, all of a sudden now don't like the guy they were rooting
so
for 6 months
today.
ago. That's all I'm saying. It's like the same with the ALD dudes who are like, I got early access to every drop, this, that, and the other, and they're like, I would never wear ALD. It's like, you fucking did 6 months ago. So what happened that you're too cool or too good for it? That's all I'm saying is like, just like you said, I don't have any guilty pleasures music. I'll tell you whatever I'm listening to. I don't fucking care. Because I genuinely like it. It's not an act for you to
be
approve.
fair, like let's we'll do one that I've heard you talk about several times lately, and that's that you wouldn't watch The Bear because people were talking about it.
But now I love it, and I'll wholeheartedly.
It's a little bit. It's not
the opposite
same
way. It's not the same thing, but it's not the same thing. Because I ate crow and said I didn't watch The Bear despite everybody telling me I had to. And then when I watched it, I was like, I'm a dumbass. That's actually like the best show I've ever fucking seen. And now I'm ride or die for The Bear. That all I'm saying is there's a difference. I genuinely was being a jackass, and I came to, and now I only can send praise.
I was genuinely being a jackass.
It'd be like me saying I love The Bear, and then it gets popular and being like, no, too many people watch that. That shit's bullshit. That's what I'm against. I'll eat crow, and I'll watch the thing and tell you that I was wrong for not watching it to spite people for so long. That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? I don't care. I'm not too cool to admit when I like a thing. You know what I mean? I'm sure there's a lot of music that people would say, oh, he has bad taste. I don't fucking care. I like it. For the record, I wouldn't want to change places with anybody in the world. I don't want to listen to anybody else's taste in music. I like mine, and I'm fine with that. I don't, you know what I mean? I don't care.
These things are all subjective is also the problem. Like, so it's like, there's no objective, you know what I mean? Like version of this. You can be like, I don't like the Beatles. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. Some of the
I don't like the
dorky,
Beatles.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all.
And some of it's really good, and you're probably missing out on some. And, you know, I don't really care.
Yeah.
And I guess is really at the end of the day, my big issue with this. You know what I mean? I don't care. I don't care what you wore before. I don't care what you wear now. You know what I mean? I just think that, like, to go back, I agree with the point of it's annoying when people are like, oh, I have nothing to do with that. And it's like, well, what are you doing? Yeah, what are you doing?
Yeah.
It was cooler to just be like, oh yeah, I used to be so into that. I was like, it's not my thing anymore, but I love what they do. You know, it's great. Yeah, great. These things exist for a million reasons.
I think that's like the coolest, most mature way to be is like, oh, I was super into that. It's not really my thing anymore, but I definitely appreciated it at that time in life. That is the cool way to be. Not, I wouldn't be caught dead wearing ALD. It's like, oh, that's weird because you would have been caught dead wearing it a year ago.
I think that it's sort of like when you listen to bands and there is like the first few records, let's say, and they're really good and they're kind of grimy and they're just different. You know what I mean? They're just like, it's a little like, and the fandom is different and the shows are different. They're like much more community oriented and you can access them if you want to, and they're very personable and available, and the shows are intimate and small and the community's small, and that feels really fun, you know? But if the band's good, they will somehow permeate culture more, and you want that for them. Don't you want people to succeed? Of course you do.
Yeah,
you know,
of course.
why I mean, look, I understand there's always the shadow person of us and everyone that doesn't want that to happen, but that's the goal. That's what anyone gets into it for, is so that a bunch of people can hear their art, and that's great. But so the shows get bigger. I mean, this happened with, like, I think of Joyce Manor a lot. I love Joyce Manor. I mean, super influential, especially that era of punk.
Well, we've both said separately, when I first moved here and went to a show, and you would go to a show in Chicago, you look around, I was like, fuck, dude, I am 5 years older than the next oldest person
but
here.
It was
but
still
that's fine. I don't
small
give a shit.
And sweaty and cool, and it had this different vibe, and those first records were so raw, and then the new ones were still good, still great, and and a bunch of people liked them, and you're like, this is better ultimately, because if you're going to listen to this or something else, this is cooler. Yeah. You know, no question. Is it different than it used to be? Yeah, but that doesn't matter. And then maybe you start to be like, now, because of where they're at, they're appealing to a broader audience, which I understand. It's going to get produced at a higher level, which is anybody's goal. And then you hope they do something cool with it, but it's not being made expressly for me anymore, where it was at one point. And the fandom just changes. It doesn't invalidate all the other cool shit they did. It doesn't, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Like for instance, I've seen Title Fight in a room of truthfully 14 people, and then I've seen them sell out a House of Blues in Columbus with fucking rafters and shit. And it was cool the whole time. And as much as I don't like hyperview, I really don't care for that. I'm not going and saying, man, fuck title fight, all that shit's silly.
Have you gone back to it as like your 30-year-old self now and listen to it?
I haven't, no.
You should at some point, because I think that it's worth going back to go, because I think I go back to it now and I'm like, I get that this is where they naturally evolved to, and this this is a representation of their current interests, and because I couldn't separate that from the first couple, it just felt like this herky jerk thing that I'm just like, it wasn't what I wanted in the moment.
Yeah.
And now you can appreciate it as something fully different. I think you'd really like it.
Sure.
You just need, because you'd be more open to it, because you'd taken the space to be more open to it.
Totally. And I don't feel the emotional connection to it like I did at that point in time.
Yeah.
But I'm also not saying, well, they did hyperview. I don't like that. Shed is trash all of a sudden. No, that's not true. Shed is a perfect record, front to back, and will be forever, regardless of what happens after. And it's the same thing of like, yeah, okay, you don't wear ALD anymore, you don't buy it, but like you're not magically not the person that liked it a year and a half ago. You're that same person. You just own it. It's fine.
It's just like the thing is, like, I think a lot of it is tied. It just like any of the brand stuff, it's tied too much in a nostalgia for a time that is only important to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like, listen, Turnstile is not going to be 100% for me because it's not for me. You know what I mean? It's not built for my age group. It's not built for any of those things.
Yeah.
It's built for a younger, more inclusive, smarter, more hip, different community.
In touch with their emotions.
Than what our version of hardcore was. You know what I mean? It's just a different
for the record,
thing.
I think what you're getting at too is like Turnstile is an offshoot of Trapped Under Ice. If anybody out there listens to Turnstile and hasn't listened to Trapped Under Ice, at least do yourself that favor. Go listen to Secrets of the World or the self-titled, I think it's called Stay Cold, it's EP. But yeah.
But this version of them, like you see that, like whatever that live show they just put out, the Baltimore, whatever it was, I forget. But it's really cool. It's so pretty. It's filmed pretty. These guys look they're like hot guys.
Yeah, they're like fashion dudes.
They have cool clothes. The crowd is so diverse and interesting and has young people, old people, all different, every different type of person that could exist is in that crowd. And that is what punk is supposed to be, and that's what it's for. And, look, he doesn't sound like, I can't remember the lead singer of Cursed, but it doesn't sound like the hardcore I have an association with and really loved. But that's just because it's a different thing.
Yeah.
And they've taken it further than Cursed was ever going to take it. Well, that's for a very specific group of people, and it's not for anybody else.
Yeah, actually.
And I can still like hold that shit tight, and I can still have these brands that I'm like, they're so niche, no one's onto this shit yet, and blah, blah, blah. And I love it because it took all this work and stuff.
Yeah.
But not everyone wants that, and not everyone needs that. And we need broad stuff.
Yeah.
And like, as long as I think like it's moving it forward, ALD moved a lot of things forward. It's the same conversation we've had a million times about Virgil. It's like, you can like him or not like him or the clothes or whatever the fuck. It doesn't matter at the end of the day, because art's supposed to exist beyond just the medium and the, whatever it is, whatever the tools you're using or creating. It's beyond that. It's like, what does it do long term? How does it move culture along? How does it change people's minds? How does it get new people in? That's what's interesting and good about, about things like this. Even though, does it feel like it's as for me as like the other stuff? No, because I don't have a nostalgia to it. I don't have an attachment to that scene. My scene was different. Super cool. I love what's happening.
Turnstile?
It's just, I think it's
well,
super
for the
cool.
record, they need to release that tune from I Think You Should Leave too. The No Rules tune.
Somebody in the comments of something had such a great idea, and they said that they should release it and then raise money, like release it as like a digital download or something. Raise money for the guy that just passed away. I can't think of his name.
Biff Whiff.
Yeah, Biff
R.I.P.
Whiff. Yeah, they should raise money for his family or something.
Yeah,
it's
for
like
anyone
so
that
tight.
Biff Whiff is the guy, Shirt Brother from the Shirt Brother Brit. He also is Detective Crashmore. You fucking suck.
Yeah.
He's got the tongue thing going on.
So I think that, but anyway, I just think it's a different thing. And that's great. And I think that you just have to be able to appreciate like different things. They're not everything's made for you. You know what I mean? Just because you don't like ALD anymore because you evolved, that's fine. Great. Now you like other stuff. You know what I mean? You got maybe a little more mature. Maybe you got a little more money in the bank so you can afford something a little, but like that doesn't diminish anything that they're doing. That doesn't diminish your ability to gain inspiration from that thing. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't understand why I hate the cut and dry of everything, especially when it comes to art, where like it's the opposite of, it's not supposed to be this exclusionary shitty thing. That's what like fucks it up long term, especially for younger generations. Because It's the same thing with Canoe Club. Like, we never wanted this to be something where it's like, you can't join the party. It's like, that's what it's here for. You know what I mean? We're here to just, are we going to appeal to everyone? No, but we're going to try to appeal to more than some, you know, because it's like, there's a lot more. I mean, if you think of just the people that work here, every single person dresses and is into such different shit.
Oh, totally.
Different ages, different backgrounds, different everything. And we're all into different stuff. And we all make sense together.
100%,
so it's the same. It's the same shit where it's like, I just don't understand like the importance of people to like disassociate and be like, I'm only involved in this one thing. I'm just this one. It's like, that doesn't make you interesting.
No, it doesn't make you
less
interesting. It doesn't make you interesting to also hate things in a group. Hate the things you really hate. I'll tell you what I hate, and I hate fucking everything. But like, it's not influenced by like what Cole hates.
I think that your problem, I think the problem with that line of thinking the only minor thing that I try to change my mind on is, you don't need to hate it. You can just, it's not my thing. It's not for me.
And that's what I'm. Yeah,
I'm open to someone changing my mind, though. You know what I mean? Like, like I've said a million times, I have tried really hard throughout my life. I was just talking to my mom about this, actually. I like tried to get into Pink Floyd, but it like just for some reason, like everything about it should hit for me, and it just doesn't. And I would love for someone to give me like, this is the thing. It's the same, we talked about Grateful Dead with Jeremy.
Yeah.
But it's like show me the thing that like makes it click for me, because it's not clicking. I want it to, though. I think that if you just change your like attitude into that of like, I want this to click for me, and then maybe it's just not, things get better. You know what I mean?
feel comfortable saying I would love for the Grateful Dead to find me. I think the imagery is cool. I like the community aspect of it. I really like the lore of like, hey, I have this tape of this specific set from this specific year at this specific city. They played XYZ. Like, all that is cool, but like, I genuinely don't like the music. But you know what I mean?
Well,
like,
this is an interesting topic to me, because actually, as I'm thinking about this, some of what has like, if I think back to, without doxing anything, think back to the thing that sort of turned me off about a brand at one point. It was that a handful of people I knew that got like too into it, you know what I mean? And now you're like, ugh, never mind. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be associated with the fellas that are only going to be into one thing. And you know what I mean? And it's hyper fixation, and it doesn't feel very like genuine. You know what I mean? It just feels like this is the trending topic right now.
It's a decision. It's a decision made. Yeah.
But that also, we've talked a million times that it's really difficult, honestly, to not want to be a new brand comes in or something like, I'm this guy.
I do it every time.
I only have this, you know what I mean? And I want to change out my whole closet to where I only have this, because then everything would look good together. But then I'm also like, well, what's the point of that? Then there's like, that's just me being a model for someone else's point of view. I want to have my own point of view, and that should come across in what I'm doing or combining or who I am or how I'm wearing it or whatever it is. And that you look, not to say that you still can't be a loyalist and find your own version of it, but I think it's a little bit more difficult also. Yeah. And it's like that, but there's an incongruence between like those two lines of thinking, unfortunately, that I think are tough. And I'm probably trying to shake myself out of one, even though I don't like it, if that makes sense. So.
Yeah, this just reminded me too. You'll like this. My sister texted me. Shout out my beautiful sister. I love you. She goes, "Hey, have you ever heard of Turnover?" And I was like, "Yeah, fuck yeah, that was my shit." And because there were my buddies in bands in Cleveland, they would hang out. Turns out played my hometown, in fact. But like, I wasn't mad that my sister's into it, who grew up in a completely different scene, no scene, you know what I mean? Just completely different world. I was like, oh, that's really cool. I'm stoked for her. I'm stoked for Turnstile. It doesn't cheapen any of the love or experiences that I had with it prior, you know? So
it's a different thing.
Yeah, it's just a different thing.
Yeah. So I don't know if we answered. I don't know where we.
I want to take a moment.
But
Verb coffee roasters in Boulder. Shit is fucking gas. One, shout out Dry Storage. Verb supplied them with their cold brew this last run or whatever. I went in there, best cold brew. And I just been thinking since sipping on this, it's really just really good. So if you live in local and you haven't stopped into Verb coffee roasters, go pop in there. Have you ever been in there?
Mm-hmm.
You have?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool. There was a really nice restaurant that used to share a wall with it that's no longer, I realized. I can't think of what it was even called, but it was good. It's like veggie forward, but still had meat. You know what I'm saying? Ready for the next question?
Sure. Aye, Captain.
You can tell I'm driving this boat. What's one brand you'll always stay loyal to no matter what? None. I don't.
One brand that always stay loyal to?
Mm-hmm.
Levi's.
That's fair. Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, like I always wear those in some capacity to have for literally at least like 20 years at this point. You know what I mean? So
see, I don't know.
I mean, that's the only one I can think of. Otherwise, yeah, none. I like all brand. I mean, the whole point is that it's fun to appreciate all these different artists and stuff like that. I can't imagine being like, I'm really into art. You're like, what are you into? I'm like, into one thing, nothing else. And you're like, what the fuck? Okay.
Yeah,
so
nobody
feel like
actually
you really
is
like it all
that
that
way,
much.
you know?
Like you like one guy.
I don't think that's how it's done. I don't know. One brand that you'll stay loyal to no matter what. I really like Orslo, and I can't imagine 10 years from now that I don't have Orslo pants. If nothing, you know, I can't imagine that, but I'm not going to write it in blood. Because also the thing is, I was talking with Michelle over the weekend. I was like, you know, if I didn't work in this world, I'd probably be fine just shopping like Old Navy or something, dude. Just find some baggy ass pants. Like, you know, I don't know. None. Levi's is a good answer. I think Levi's is a good answer.
Well, what about new Levi's? Like, would you buy like a pair of 505s at Costco?
No. It has nothing to do with the brand or like what it is, though. It has everything to do with that they're not used.
Huh.
He likes shit used.
I want pants, like jeans especially, I want them to be
broken in a little more.
Totally worn.
Yeah.
Like I want them worn by someone, not just fake shit.
Yeah.
I want them beat.
No, I get that.
It's just what I feel most comfortable in, because it's like there's a shape thing that happens. Plus, they're a little more pliable in my mind when you start wearing them. They form to you a little bit better. It's just my thing. It's like this doesn't need to be people's thing. I don't even know that I fully agree with what I'm saying. It's just that's my conclusion. So, yeah. I mean, I have no problem with. I mean, if you were to be like, I'm not in fashion, I don't have the money for fashion or whatever the thing is. I mean, I would always appreciate it, but I think it would probably just be like, well, I'll just get like a top and bottom from Levi's that match in black and blue, and then that'll be what I have. You know,
honestly, yeah. Or like Carhartt, just regular mainline Carhartt's dope. Going to an Army surplus, I think is dope. You can get some good fitting stuff there. You know, I dress that way anyway, so.
When it's affordable too.
Yeah,
a lot easier.
Yeah, and I
think
fashion
it's insane that people talk about how you have to be rich or whatever. It's like, it's just like no, you don't. You just have to like to. Look, you just have to be interested. I think at the end of the day,
there's a dude that is part of the Lolitas crew. We've all seen him. He's out there whittling sticks and weapons lately. I haven't seen him in a couple weeks, but you know. And then he rides around the block on his longboard and this, that, and the other. And
has a pit bull.
He's quite a character, but. Every day you see him, he's got a different fit on. He's got all these really beautiful colored sweaters and shit. And like, listen, I'm not saying this dude is like a cool guy. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things about him that are like kind of like a red flag. But he's always pulling fits, dude. I have to give him flowers. You see him, you're like, fuck, dude. It's even more you than you looked yesterday. I don't know. You know, tight ass little pants and a cool sweater. It's like, I don't know. That's cool. So yeah, you don't need to. It doesn't have to be expensive to have a style or a point of view.
Mm-hmm.
No,
I don't think that was the question, but
yeah I guess you're right.
I'll say two brands that I'm loyal to. Orslo recently.
Yeah,
it's just for what we get it and the quality. I really like it. Especially, like we were saying, like new. It's like I can put a pair of Orslo jeans on, and it feels like I just got a really good thrift from a Levi's. You know, and the other one's Kirkland Signature. I really fuck with Kirkland Signature.
Tees?
Well, what are you scooping from them?
Dude, anything from almonds. I just think they make good toilet paper. They make good paper products.
Frozen pizza.
Love their frozen pizza. I love their dishwasher pods, laundry detergent. I just think that's a good quality brand I can stand behind. Nothing to do with clothing.
I guess I wasn't thinking about brands beyond.
Well, then in that case, 365 / Whole Foods. Yeah. Whole Foods is kind of like how I hope people view Canoe Club. It's like, yeah, whatever they got, I want it. So I am loyal to Whole Foods. Yeah, and I don't see that changing anytime soon.
I mean, if there was a proper boutique, like a nicer, not Erewhon, but I don't care. That would be fine too. Any like nicer grocery store that came up, if somebody just beat them, then I'd be loyal to them. Yeah. So I'd break ties pretty fast if I needed to. someone just has to put it in a nicer location. If that's all it is, dude. You know what I mean? It's not.
Make it look nice inside.
I don't feel hard loyal to anything.
I'm trying to think what would need to happen for it to be better than Whole Foods. because Whole Foods is great for so many.
It's
reasons.
gotten pretty sterile in my opinion compared to what it used to be. It used to feel like you were in like a nice spot, and now it's just sort of. I'm not going anywhere else. I'm just saying it's not what it used to be. It's definitely it's
not
a
what
little
it
bit
used
more.
to be, but it's become
pretty
more
whitewashed, dude.
It's become more accessible. It's become more affordable, and
at what cost? But yeah, I hear you.
We ain't slowing down that train. You know what I mean?
Sure. I mean, I'm just saying it'd be easy to make the argument the other way on that, but I hear you.
But don't you want the people in the world to have better access to better food at a lower price point?
That's not what we're dealing with here, dude. Like that's a different thing. You're talking about.
Are you doing Amazon? You're talking about Amazon?
You're into a market share economy at this point. Like you're talking about like being pro oligarchy at this point if you're not careful down this road. But like no. I mean, I think that everyone what they should do is go out to a farm stand and buy things locally from directly from people to support families and shit like that. No. And I'll pay any cost to do those kind of things. It's just the problem is it's not really happening. Not that often, and in the amount of out of way that you got to go. We don't need to go into this whole territory.
No,
but
I
do think that my problem is what happens in this is yes, it gets a little cheaper, gets a little more accessible, and that's great. Mm-hmm. But you've also lost. It doesn't have any like. Not that I don't want to say there was soul to it. That seems a little ridiculous. But I mean, like there was a little bit more. Felt a little bit more homegrown and a little bit more cared for and a little bit more nurtured for before the Amazon purchase. No question. It felt like it was a little bit more. These people truly give a shit about the stuff that they're carrying in here, and it doesn't matter the cost. It's about what's best.
No, I agree.
That has gone away a little bit.
I think if you're trying to combat what you're talking about, the best thing you could do is like join a co-op.
Well, you can and look, some of that's, I've been to plenty of those and we go to them semi-regularly and some of them suck. You get certain things better. And like, you can play both sides of this. That is the argument is what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. I just think that Whole Foods we're more into the B range where it used to be an A at this point.
Yeah. And I'm not unaware of the fact that it has certainly changed. I mean, when I was a sophomore in college, my buddy Rydog got food stamps. And we would drive, this is, kind of game the system a little bit. They weren't mine. They were his. But we would drive to Cleveland, go to Whole Foods and go to fucking blow it on food stamps. But like, we would have nice things for a couple weeks. And like, that was really fun and special. And it felt cool to go into Whole Foods.
That was a different time though.
Exactly. This was well over 10 years ago. Yeah. So it has changed. That's what I'm saying. It's changed from that period of time, no doubt.
So I think that, like I'm saying, if somebody were to open something like that, I mean, you already seen it in LA. They open Erewhon. No one gives a shit about Whole Foods anymore. They just think that that's the spot.
Are you familiar with Wegmans, or was that not near you?
Yeah, I'm aware.
You're aware of it. Yeah. Do you know Wegmans? Cole, was it in Boston? How do you know it?
Yeah, I think it started in either Pennsylvania.
Yeah. I know it from Pennsylvania.
But there would be tons in Mass. And first time I went in, I was like,
that's what you're talking about. A Wegmans. Cleveland has Heinen's, which is, I think, more or less a Wegmans, just with a different color scheme. But those kind of things, for the record, if we had that, I would shop there. The closest thing we have is a Sprouts.
But that's all I'm saying is if that pops up, I will break brand quickly.
And if somebody wants to fund franchising a Heinen's or a Wegmans out in Colorado, do it, and you have two patrons right off the rip who will. And I'm.
So I'm saying I'm with you in some ways, but I'm also I wouldn't argue I'm not brand loyal to it because I will make the switch as soon as there was something.
I'm loyal to it until something better pops up. Sure. I think it's what we're also kind of saying with the clothing and shit too.
Yeah.
So hold on, what time is it, Cole? Like time of the day?
We should probably start to wrap up a little bit. We could do.
What do you got? One more?
And
is it too much?
Give me a second.
You guys could probably talk like an hour about this one. I feel like.
Is it it's a long one?
Okay, no. We'll do.
You want to do it?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Well, how much time we got?
I
apologize to the listeners.
Like 13 minutes left.
We can fit in 13.
Can whip it. Okay.
Okay. Each of you can sponsor and dress one athlete in any sport of your choosing in head to toe CC. Who would it be? And then in addition,
is active athlete
reached out for you to resign. We're going to do the second half of this for the next pod. So you can pick one athlete and you could dress them. Yeah. You could pick one athlete, you could dress them. Let's say past or present.
Past or present. Do you have one right off rip?
I don't. I will say I immediately go towards basketball. I just feel like basketball was,
Is the goal of it that it seems like somebody that would actually wear the stuff that we carry, or this would just be like we think they would look cool in...
Well, Saquon Barkley, I believe, clearly shopped at another store in that I'm not going to give him any play, in the town of which he plays. He was wearing a full Sassafras kit to the Super Bowl, I'm pretty sure. His like tunnel walk, he was in a Sassafras kit, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool." But I don't feel any emotional connection to Saquon Barkley. But I'm trying to think like past or present. Like my mind goes towards a favorite basketball player of mine is Tracy McGrady. I have that card behind it. So it's like, I don't know. Part of me is like, yeah, it'd be cool to interact with Tracy McGrady and to be his guy and get him feeling comfortable. But I don't know that T-Mac is necessarily interested in wearing
I
Visvim
thought about
and
Vince
Orslow.
Carter,
You know what I mean?
I'm like, I'm not sure he would be.
I don't think he's interested in doing that.
I don't think he wants to wear like a lot of denim.
Yeah, I agree. You know, I don't know. This is really tough because maybe the second part of the question is easier.
Now, I would love to do this with basketball players because this idea that they're fashion icons, that has to stop right now. There is no worse group of people dressed than NBA basketball.
I largely
truly
agree.
Terrible. It is truly terrible. Show me the one person that's got cool clothes on because I have not seen it. It's not happening. It is the goofiest shit smashed together that you've ever seen.
Yeah, no, it typically is, but you put yourself in their position. Now, I'm not going to bat for these athletes. They got millions of dollars in access. They can dress however they want, and they
get a stylist. Get a stylist.
But you know, do they have to? They have to have a new outfit for every game, dude, because otherwise they're getting dogged out in the media and shit. And so a part of me is like,
they don't. But they're all dressed like they're in fucking Cool World.
Yeah,
you know, Cool World.
Cool World.
Brad Pitt.
No.
It was just like it was like a cartoon hybrid movie. You know what I mean?
Oh, interesting.
It was. I don't remember it that well. I just remember the dressing was like it was like so crazy. You know, everything that they were wearing was crazy. And they were just that feels like what it is. It's like I got like a Louis Vuitton bag that lights up, and then I also have a giant blazer from Marnie, and then I also have these crazy pants I bought from Chrome Hearts, and it's like. What the hell? Who did this? It's like I understand you have money. We did not need this tunnel to tell us that. We all knew that.
Yeah.
What I'm now realizing is you've got a lot of money and no taste. So I think that like we need to get some good stylists, not like their buddy from back home. And we need to start getting people in some nicer, you know,
well,
just
you have to assume,
make them all wear suits again or something. Make it feel pro.
Yeah, dress it up a little bit. You have to assume that they're getting dozens, if not hundreds, of incoming calls saying, "I'll pay you $10,000 to wear my suit for this playoff game or some shit." But if you're
really a rich person, then say no.
I agree.
And
have
just
a sense
no,
of,
I want to look cool.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know. I really, as much as I thought, oh, this is a great question, I don't have an answer right off the rip.
We're probably too stuck in basketball because that's immediately what I got stuck into, and I don't know why.
Yeah,
but. I think it's because basketball is so closely tied to like fashion and stuff like that.
In a lot of cases,
in a lot of ways.
I mean, Bull used to shop with us. He was cool.
I'm trying to think of another what's a different avenue we can go down. People are gonna be like, "There's tennis guys," and I'm like, "They all dress ultra boring. No one cares about that."
Is there a sport, like a specific sport that you guys are like they do have a good outfit, or like
maybe let me reframe it. Like in my opinion, it would be that like tennis or soccer players are gonna wear clothes well because they got a great build. Because obviously basketball. Here's what I'll give them some fairness in. You got to do a bunch of tailoring. These are huge guys.
Oh, these dudes are behemoths.
Yeah, these are like.
Well, that's the thing is like, how do you expect a dude who's 6'4", 280 pounds? He ain't buying clothes from a store.
It's also hard to look cool in clothes when it's like I'm just a lot of person. Yeah, so it's going to be a lot of clothes.
No, I agree.
So I think that's tough.
Tell me what you think about this. I don't have one off the rip, but I know you hate golf, but it's an opportunity to dress cool, and it literally never happens.
The
not
problem
anymore.
Is the people just don't look cool and aren't cool.
Yeah, but like, what if you put like a guy in like a nice pair of roomy trousers, a cool sweater vest, and like, what if you did it up a la the old times?
I want somebody to go in and just show everyone that you don't need these dumb athletic clothes to do the things. Golf, you can do that in jeans. I want somebody to walk out there in an all denim kit. I'm talking old Wrangler tucked into old Wrangler jeans. And like, you know what I mean? And just go out there and rip one. And be like, look, I didn't need to wear anything different. It doesn't matter at all.
John Daly.
Well, we're not going to use him as a fashion
But as an example, like you
on.
don't need some stretch material. Yeah. That motherfucker was sneaking alcohol during tournaments and winning them, and so you don't need it. It's the same with the bikes, dude. I rode my bike 88 miles in a day from fucking the corner of Ohio to the west side of Cleveland, and I did it in a pair of soccer shorts and a cut-off tank top with my backpack slung over. And we got these guys out here in costumes to ride on a fucking city street, and it's like, so I'm tired of that.
That, you know what? Here's what I'll give you. I think that golf would be an interesting place for it to happen because it's definitely the worst dressed.
100%. That's what I was thinking.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
In fact, I'll go back on anything I said about NBA and say at least they're making an effort. These guys are wearing like the dumbish, vineyard vines and shit. So like one of those vests that it's like, what is that for? What is that even covering on your body?
No, it's like an active material vest over the rest of everything they have on. Let's all just admit
it's because we're insecure about our bodies. So you put that on, it gives you a little shape in the middle. That's what they're doing it for because these aren't athletic fellows. No offense. It's just it's not an athletic sport.
Well, Rory's fit, but he's about yeah.
We got one. So my thing is like, I want to see somebody go out there and be like, I don't need this. I'm gonna wear street clothes and just have like the fuck you of it is the fashion choice. That could be pretty cool. That would make a wave in a cool way.
It'd be cool for a golf guy to be fucking stylish, to just pulling kits, playing well, but not looking like a country club dork,
Yeah.
Because the thing is a pro golfer looks exactly the same as a 22 handicap guy who golfs at the course down in Arvada. You know what I mean? And that's the difference. That it should be different.
Yeah. So I think there's maybe a big opportunity to switch it up there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think soccer guys could probably use for switching up the silhouette a little bit.
Probably just tight as hell.
A lot of guys wearing really tight stuff. So that could be switched up. But that's a pretty simple switch up. They'll look great because they're all like, it's real athletes. It's real athletes. Sorry, everybody else, not just about genetics. So you get a lot of different types of people, different shapes, different sizes, different level, but they're all very athletic at the end of the day because they're running. Yeah. All they're doing is running, and it also doesn't seem to have an age limit on it. You see all sorts of different ages in that sport. Dude. So I think that you get like you switch up their outfits barely at all, and they're looking pretty good. I think the same thing kind of goes for tennis. It's kind of got a similar situation to it.
Yeah.
These slightly more worldwide sports certainly help the situation, I think, a little bit. But
I agree. I mean, dude, how cool is it? Like Wimbledon, wearing the all white and shit. Like that's fucking sick as hell. Tennis is tight. Timbo, I talked about it off pod, but I want to say it here. Going to New York Open this year. That'll be fun.
Maybe.
He's doing this fucking thing where he says he's gonna improve my time. It's like, motherfucker, I never take a vacation. I'm not even gonna entertain it.
It's literally he says he's not gonna entertain it, but he's already tooled up. I've been doing the bit for like 2 days now. That doesn't bother me at all.
I'm going to Troubles walking in with quite a flag. It's different than what you think it is. Yeah. It's more than it appears. Going to the New York Open. I'm really excited. I don't know how people dress for the New York Open, but I know celebs go, so I'm kind of excited for that. So I'm going to have to get a couple fits. I'm curious about the food and drink eaten at the New York Open, but I'm very excited for that. However, I've never been to a professional tennis event. The closest I've come is when we would do sectionals in high school. The school from Cleveland called Shaker Heights had the best tennis player in Ohio. His name was Tommy Marks. We'd gather around and watch him as if he was a pro. That's the closest I've come to seeing a professional tennis player play or otherwise. So I'm really excited about that. Just since we're on the topic of tennis.
Well, we're excited to see you eat a corn dog in your tennis outfit.
I will check in live. I'll take some videos for the pod or something. At least of what I'm eating. You know what I mean? Going to New York, we're gonna stay there for a little bit. I think we're gonna do a little touristy kind of things. I think I'm gonna see Statue of Liberty.
Very cool.
I would like to go to. I told you I'd like to go to Zabar's because I just think the imagery is cool. I want to get like a mug or something cool.
I'll give you a couple nice suggestions food wise.
And I'm super open to food, but I'd also love, a bacon, egg, and cheese bagel and some pizza. And is halal?
Oh, chopped cheese.
I never had a chopped cheese.
Great work last night, boys.
Hey, wait, Pacers won.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, hey, I'm gonna say this: go Pacers! For a second, I thought I was rooting for the Knicks. I thought I was rooting for the Knicks because I like Jalen Brunson. I think he's a hustle man.
Hard disagree. He is playing Olympic level soccer at this point, in the way that he's rolling around on the ground the way he does. So their whole move is drive to the hole and fall down. It's literally like watching bad private school basketball. You know what I mean?
The thing is he's smaller, and so he's trying to force his way through, and he's getting caught up and tripping over himself. In high school, real quick, I had a teammate I played for years with, indoor, outdoor, this, that, and the other. He was like an anime kid, and he was hairy as fuck. And I mean just hairy as sin. We called him Caveman. So much so that his mom and dad started calling him Caveman, and he'd be playing and you'd hear, "Go Caveman." And it's his mom yelling. But it got to the point, dude, where he'd hit the ground and I'd help yourself up. He could not stay on his fucking feet. His feet, he got ahead of himself every single time Caveman was on the ground. Injury.
You'd think it would hurt with the hair, you know.
He was just hairy as sin, dude. And I'm telling you, I've never the only person hairier than him was his dad. And it was crazy. You know what I mean? Like polo shirt coming out the back of the polo. You know, it might as well be hair to neck. You know what I mean? The only way you could tell is a different color.
It's like a Teen Wolf.
Hair. It is straight up Teen Wolf. But Caveman, same thing. It's like a Jalen Brunson where it's like, dude, you spend so much time rolling around and shit.
Stand up, dude. Stand up.
Anyway,
it's embarrassing.
I'm gonna say this on the record. I'm not rooting for New York sports ever. I'm trying to think if there's any New York team that I root for.
Timmy Chalamet, the only actor on that court. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. Damn, Timmy Chalamet, dude. Love seeing him and Kylie Jenner. I think that's a cute couple. Genuinely, I'm not joking at all. I think that's fucking sick.
Chalamet looked at the camera. Chalamet, you got to get it together. The outfits this isn't it. I don't know if it's a bit. It's not funny.
I haven't seen the outfits.
I thought you were like a fashion guy. What is this?
He's post-fashion, man.
He
speaks like 12
looks like
languages.
He'd be a friend of Sonic the Hedgehog the way he's dressing. He's like one of Sonic's buddies.
Yeah.
Hell
yeah. Oh, but anyway, go Pacers. Undoubtedly, go Pacers. I was rooting for the Knicks going into this series, and then the Pacers had that fucking comeback with 2 minutes, 35 seconds left, 14 points or whatever it was. And I was like, nope, that's it. I'm a Pacers fan now. I'm a Pacers fan. And this will stay.
They play nice fundamental basketball. You know what I mean? They pass that ball around. They work well at high speeds.
They're a scrappy bunch.
Yeah.
They don't give up. I like the Pacers.
Hardworking. Very
fuck
Indiana.
The Knicks. Go Pacers. Yeah. Really, I'm just stoked. I'm stoked on.
Might want to think about trading that Brunson though while you guys are at it next year because that guy really stinks.
Well, he's the light of New York right now.
Sucks for New York.
Yeah,
sucks for New York. Maybe just stick Chalamet in there.
Put Chalamet in there. You know what? Yeah. Hey, you know what? The Knicks need a hooper. Adam Sandler is on call. Draft him. I guarantee you,
he's
Adam Sandler will find the open man.
Yeah.
You got to get him a pair of 2X shorts. You got an extra jersey lying around.
We're playing old the old logo Sixers jerseys. You know the ones where the shorts like touch the ground.
Yeah, dude.
That's what we're getting. That man. Yeah.
AI.
Bring it back.
Adam Sandler will find the open man. He's a team player.
Yeah.
He legitimately would probably do a good job out there. I'm not joking at all. If you've seen him hoop,
like not a starter, but. He holds his own.
He's not even a six man.
Yeah.
But he get him in there. He'll find the open man. You'll get hustle out of him for a couple minutes out of the game.
This is a new way that we could potentially fix the NBA. Like I've had a couple different ideas.
Yeah.
This is a new way. Just celebrities. I know they do a celebrity thing, but I want it only people who are known for like playing basketball a little bit.
Yeah.
Like we've all seen the pictures of Chalamet and Adam Sandler playing basketball in the streets. Sub them in. They represent. Well, Sandler's LA now. He's the Lakers, Knicks. Just get whoever's famous in these given areas of the and then they lead the.
I wonder who's the most famous person in Oklahoma City. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's got to be a guy.
There's got to be a famous hooper, a guy who can hoop. Living in Oklahoma City. Hey, real quick on sports, and then
celebrities
we
only. You know what? And the other thing is too, if there's not somebody who does play, Hollywood has to volunteer one of their own that are from the area.
Yeah, we want Macaulay Culkin. To go sub in for.
We could put the Culkins against each other.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get that one young one to shut up a little bit.
The little one?
Yeah, he needs to stop talking. He's talking too much. We're all done with it. You did the talking movie. You're done now. You're gonna sit the next few years out.
Growing Pains, is that it?
Growing Pains.
What's the name of the movie? Pains, right?
Oh, Real Pain.
Real Pain. Pain. Hey, just because a couple podcasts back I talk about my teacher saying she'd leave her husband and kids for Dale Earnhardt Jr. You see there's going to be a new documentary on Netflix, or it's already out of Dale Earnhardt?
Yeah, I saw it.
Are you going to watch that?
No, I bet your teacher is.
I'm gonna watch it, dude.
I'll probably watch it.
You got, dude. I actually am.
I don't care about the
hyped.
racing component is the only thing, but I like the background of.
Yeah, and also speaking of nostalgia, Dale Earnhardt was tight as hell, man. Apparently, he was I remember him passing, and my family was an Earnhardt family. In fact, when my uncle passed, my aunt gave me a Dale Earnhardt pocket knife, fully branded, all this, that, and the other. So maybe I'll bring that as my daily. My EDC.
I want next pod, you have to show us your EDC.
I don't have one, but Al. Oh shoot! I wish I knew the name. Al has this little silver knife.
I'm not talking about a weapon. I'm talking about like your dumb wallet and stuff. What
Hey,
do you mean? I'm not talking about.
I got it from here. I got it
Oh,
from
you got
here.
a new one.
Yeah, it's a
Come
Canoe
sticker
wallet.
on it.
Oh no, that one was from my college girlfriend somewhere in Italy.
Just to be clear, like mine is in a free thing I got now, and prior to that was in a hair tie that I took from Abby. So I'm not really like a wallet guy.
No, I'm happy I have mine. I got the little half zip wallet. It goes from one corner around a corner to the other. Comme des Garçons wallet. I have my keys and I have my phone. I'm not necessarily one to have a bunch of shit on me. Just not interested in it. But even more so would be you. You like to just be.
I don't want anything. I want them to install some chip or whatever, so I can rock free finally.
I mean, we've got to be pretty close to the point where like it all works on your phone, ID and otherwise. But the problem is,
it basically does. I want it in my head at this point. But I don't want any. I don't want a phone on me. Phones are too big.
What if you got to get gas?
The biggest. I used to be able to get the little phone. I can't get the little phone anymore. I got a big one.
What if you gotta get gas and your fucking phone's dead? You can't use Apple Pay though. You know what I mean? Like that is the dilemma.
I want him to put it in my finger or something, and I just. Yeah. Who cares?
Hey, well, you know what? I can connect you with old Elon. Elon Musk is probably working on that.
How do you know?
I'm more so doing a bit because I know you'd hate to have to talk to him as would I.
I'm not gonna do that.
You ball tap him.
I'll just. What's up,
buddy?
Ding.
Back
That's the funniest possible thing. Because you can't go to like prison for that. They could say it's assault.
No, they'd say it's assault or sexual assault. Yeah, you could go to prison for that for sure.
You know what? That is the softening of America.
Yeah.
You gotta Cole just get nuts. You gotta be kicked to sack tap now and then.
Yeah. Cole is done with this conversation. He said we're good, so we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. Real quick. Again, thank you for Memorial Day. Pop over to the site www.shopcanoeclub.com. We got some vans online now. Beams Japan is online. Massive fucking shipment. Stussy Frism.
Lady White's already picked over.
Lady White's already been picked over. Monastery's already picked over.
We got some restocks. We got some cool stuff coming in still. That's on the way.
I'm missing a big one. Hold on. I'm missing a big one. Henderscheme G-Shocks go live Friday.
I'm just going to be up front with you right now. If you've gotten this far in the podcast, they aren't going to make it to Friday. We have almost none. That's all that's allocated. It's all you could get. Go to Patreon.
Yeah, we're going to give them Patreon tomorrow.
It's really, you're going to be your only chance. That's just the reality.
Yep. So they're going to go to Patreon tomorrow, Thursday at time of this airing. I will do it in the afternoon. So maybe if people hear this, and anyway, that's it. We're going to call it. We need to wrap up. You have a meeting, and then I think we're done in here.
Oh, shit. Is my meeting right now?
Is it 1, Cole? All right, we got to go. All right. Bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye.